Hi, and welcome to another episode of We Hate Skill Windows, a podcast about hating skill windows. Today we are discussing 7FATES CHAKHO, and this is just so happens to be our, I believe, 25th episode. So, yay, milestone. We're a quarter to 100 or something, I don't know. Anyway, this is about BTS characters, and I'm not the K-pop fan in the room, so don't expect anything huge from this. I don't know what I'm talking about. But as is somewhat tradition ish, I'll just describe out a little bit of the thing that we have read about so far. In this is like the webtoons version on official webtoons. Uh oh, there's apparently a web novel supposed to be released as well. Oh, this is the first story in a
Alright.
few. Huh. Interesting. Well, anyway, so we've been introduced to a few characters so far. Funnily enough, I think we've been introduced to seven characters. Wait, are there only seven
Oh,
members of BTS?
yeah.
Oh, okay. You know what? Somehow I thought BTS was made up of like 15 people. I think I've been like
Ooh,
influenced by like, you know how like J-pop idol groups are like insanely large.
48. Yeah.
Like they have like generations of talent. I thought BTS was
Yeah.
like much bigger. Imagine if BTS was literally like 79 people. That's why they call
Huh.
them the army or something. But no, the army
Ugh.
is the fans in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's not quite right. Well, anyhow, the story as we know it, there's a guy named Zeha. I'm saying this from a non-fan perspective. I'm just gonna talk as if I don't know the association. Because to me, trying to like decipher, oh well, what character played the I don't know enough about BTS to care. Like I went to the comments afterwards and I saw people being like, "Ah, oh, that's so like this character to do that," and I'm like, I don't know why it's so like this person. The only prior knowledge I had prior to reading the series was that Chris and I were discussing it a bit last week, and Chris said, "Oh wow, they really nailed RM's character as RM. He's the only one that looks like himself." So that's all the knowledge I had. But brief recap from what I know, and then I guess we can get into the good and the bad. Essentially, though, we see the story beginning with a guy named Zeha, who is apparently like the heir to. Well, he's not the heir. He's like half mystical creature, half human, and he breaks the seal involuntarily and releases a bunch of these like biome. I don't know how to pronounce that.
I think it's
Uh,
a bomb.
Bohm. Okay. Well, yeah, it unleashes the Bohm into the human world, which is not a good thing because the Bohm like to eat humans. But he doesn't know that. And then he's then confronted by some random guy named Haru. We don't know shit about Haru. I don't know why he's there. I couldn't tell you. But together they go and fight stuff because yeah, yay protagonist. And then along the way you meet Dogon or
Yeah.
who's got a traumatic past and therefore you should care about him. And boy, he does look like RM from the one photo of RM that I've seen before. Uh, and then we have, I'm reading out the wiki now. And now we have Juan, Hosu, Juan, and Sign. And they're all there. Yeah, and some of them have tragic backstories. Most of them have tragic backstories. And they all sort of look the same, which is really sad. I know sometimes people say stuff like, "Oh, all Asians look the same," but listen, like most of these characters have like brown hair and brown eyes, and it's like styled roughly the same way. I wish I knew enough about BTS that maybe I could decipher like, "Oh, this is Jungkook's character. Oh, I know this one," but I don't know a single fucking thing. All I knew starting out was, oh, RM is RM, and he's supposed to be. Wait, I don't think he's the leader, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you said he's the leader, and then I think you said Suga is the green-haired guy, and he's supposed to be cute,
Supposedly.
supposedly. So far, I don't think
I don't know much
Sign's
about
very
BTS
cute.
either.
Wait, really? You know, somehow I thought being
Uh,
a K-pop fan would just mean that you would know more, but I guess that's
I
not quite
mean,
right.
I know a decent bit about BTS, but I'm not like so deep into the fandom that I don't know like the pet names yet, you know.
Oh.
I
When
just
you were
generally know a
reading this,
couple things.
did you have that feeling more than I did? Like, oh wow, that's a lot like Jungkook to do that. Or did
I I
you
I
not have
just
that?
watch meme videos of BTS. I don't
Uh,
I don't follow their content too closely to actually like know their personalities that well.
I see. Understood. I just assumed, people say K-pop and they're like, "Oh, I love BTS." So I thought maybe, hmm, wow. Probably be the same as like people being like, "Oh, I love J-pop," and then I don't know. I well, what do you talk about in
No,
J-pop
it's like
though?
you're American. Oh my God, I own all of Beyonce's songs. You?
You know, yeah, maybe. But in America, you can't really say like, "Oh, I'm a fan of hip hop," and then people will be like, "Oh, you must know this artist." I feel like that's too broad. Like
I
K-pop
don't
for
know.
some
They could
reason is
say
like
like,
almost iconically BTS. I feel.
yeah,
Because when you
BTS
say K-pop,
is the most
you don't
popular.
say K-pop and you refer to like, oh, I meant specifically Girls' Generation or something. Uh, that's a
I
K-pop group,
think,
I think. Or like,
yeah, yeah,
maybe
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
you could get away with it by saying like, oh, I love Twice. But like, if you name some like fairly obscure one, I don't think people are gonna be like, oh yeah, K-pop. But if you say BTS, then they're like, oh, you're one of those people. You're, yeah, yeah, I don't know.
Interesting thoughts.
I don't have a great opinion on BTS fans. I'm not saying they're bad people, but some of the people I knew IRL who were BTS fans were like rabid. They were like foaming at the mouth whenever Jungkook was mentioned. But anyhow, from a non BTS fan, non K-pop fan, this is like a pretty solid sob story, just a general story. Yeah, it's not a power fantasy,
Yeah, that was kind of
which
surprising.
is unfortunate. I thought it would be. I like based on
It's
the
too hard.
prologue, I thought it would be like, oh, this is like the story of these insane genius hunters, and they're gonna beat the shit out of every single bomb or whatever that they see. Instead, it's like, no, Seiha gets beat up a lot, and Dogyeon or Dogon also gets beat up a lot. And actually, in fact, Hwan and
Oh,
Hosu and Joan and Sign and Haru all get beat up a lot. In fact, it feels like Haru's fucking useless. But he's got a big mummy that does fuck all. Yeah. They're sort of weak, huh? When do they get their power spike? When does like the BTS like butter drops from the sky or something, and they get their power up? What happens?
BTS
That's the
butter
only
drops.
that's the only song I know from them. Right? Like there's butter. It like showed up in a movie or something. I don't know. I,
Oh,
that's all I know. I think I watched the
okay.
movie it was in. Right? It was like a Avengers film. I think. I think I'm right. I'm just exposing myself and not knowing anything. But yeah, from a non BTS fan viewpoint, not seeing all the hype about it, this is just like it's just a story. I don't think I would say it's particularly good or bad. It's sort of average and fairly generic, which is not good things. We're bashing on Redice here.
Well,
Turns out not everything Redice puts their hands on is gold.
and they probably
uh,
got paid a lot of money to do this
they
work.
they
So.
most likely did this because of the money and the fame. I'm sure like BTS also was like, oh, what's the hottest artist in the market? Ah, Redice, cool. Like it's like the people who got paid to make like the well no this is unrelated slander. It's like the people who got paid to do like the what's it the PUBG stories. They're
You're
just
right.
like drawing about a guy with a frying pan in a school or something. Why like you, what?
PUBG story. Haha.
It's part of the PUBG expanded universe, you know.
That's what we were all asking for. Haha.
We sure did. We sure all asked for this. Yeah, but I mean, at the very least, the monster designs in this are pretty neat. I like the monsters. They're cool.
Yeah.
They're probably the cooler part about this. But then you think about it more, and you're like, oh, aren't the monsters just sort of like rip-offs of like the Canine people and Tower of God?
Uh,
And then you
I
think about it
mean,
more, and you're like, this doesn't feel terribly original as a plot either. It's like pretty similar to a lot of anime out there, I think, where like the main character is like the hybrid chosen son of some prophecy, and he accidentally does something wrong and releases like evil spirits into the human world and must hunt them down. That's like a lot of plot lines. But I mean, it's BTS, right? And every chapter had at least one comment that was like, "Oh, we gotta like push this to the top for the army." So, or like, you're making me spend all
ooh.
my battle pass tokens for the army, and it's like, oh well, guess at least you guys are having fun. I guess. Like, I can only imagine BTS army fans are in fact not the most primary uh readers of webtoons, that they are wasting their coins on such a travesty like this, but I'm just saying there's better shit out there. Go support Hand Jumper or something. Go support something with real fuck you vibes. Not this. This is generic. I don't know. That's a lot of me talking about it. Did you have any thoughts on it?
Honestly, yeah, I didn't really enjoy it that much either. It was,
I feel like you read more like normal stuff than I do. Like I
this
just read
one,
primarily like power fantasy, so maybe my like taste is super fucked, but
this one
maybe this
was
one.
very rushed. It
Hmm.
was like, to be honest, we don't know anything about the characters. Oh,
We
uh,
don't. It also I hopefully you would also agree with me on this, but like it feels like they have absolutely no connection to each other. Like
they
this is
don't, you know.
seven fucking strangers who all get introduced and are all apparently reincarnations of the same fucker like thousands of years ago or something. But like aside from
Yeah.
that, we don't they're not like drawn to each other. They just sort of they're forced to be allies
Oh,
essentially.
forced to be, but yeah, they didn't have a very strong connection with each other story-wise.
There was no like setup at
Just,
least being like, oh, like the only thing we saw was like Sign's character was like, oh, I have this eyepiece from the Bone people and I can see things randomly for no real reason, but hey, yeah, I survived the stomach of a bone and I got an eye spy thing. Sure.
he sees the past of people. Ooh.
I how, how did you happen to so luckily see the past of these other six people that share the same fate as you, huh? You just walk around and hold that up and actually remember what you see. I'd walk
Uh,
around, see the past of like the people near me, and be like, okay, I don't really know what I'm looking for, and eventually I'd stop. Like, I don't think I'd care enough. Like, I don't know.
uh,
I feel like it would have been cooler at the very least, like they introduced the butterflies, which are like a rival like hunter group in this universe. It would be cooler, like maybe one of the characters is part of the butterflies. He gets introduced as a antagonist, and throughout the story, he gets like more disillusioned with the butterflies and ends up like joining them. I don't know. I feel it would feel more organic, but for what it felt like, it was just like, oh well, they've introduced 6 members of BTS so far. Where will the 7th member show up? Oh, we see a guy. He looks generic. Guess that's the 7th character.
yeah.
It just, like, no real connection, no real motive to. I,
They have
the
they
only
don't have a
motive they've had so
plan.
far is like some of the characters are like, hey, you know this foam? I'm looking for this one. I'm looking for Volty. Oh, me, I'm looking for Hopo. And like, they just like, and then Dogon goes, oh, you smell like one. And he points a gun to their head. And they're like, no, 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 I'm human, I promise. And they're like, oh, don't worry, that's just Dogon being stupid. Haha, hoo hoo. That's the only, like, interaction, and then somehow
Yeah.
they're like looking at San, who just randomly like stalked them from a distance. They're like, "Oh, you must be a fighter," and San's like, "Yes, that's me, a fighter." I, what would have happened if Zay had never found the sword in the museum, huh? Would he never have actually learned this? Because just by coincidence, the random fucking sword he found in the museum happens to be the relic he's looking for.
Apparently, Haru knew it was important.
But he didn't really tell him about it. In fact, I don't think Haru said going to the museum was a good idea. It just feels bad. Like, this of all stories felt like it had to work because it's BTS, you know? Like, this has
Yeah.
to work because we have to introduce the characters, and this is more like a hype story for what BTS maybe wants out of it. Maybe this is like based on what they want to see out of it. But this is not like a story that organically came to be. This is more like a bunch of writers in a room being like, how do we hype up? How do we hype up J Hope's character or something? You know,
Oh.
it felt promotionally motivated. I don't think it is because I cannot imagine 7FATES CHAKHO is out here actually introducing BTS to people. I'm pretty sure BTS can introduce BTS to people. I don't think they need a webtoon to do that. I'm in the same vein of like, okay, if you discover PUBG through the like PUBG webtoon, then I don't know where you've been. You just go on YouTube, go on Steam, watch the videos, play the game.
I think KDA introduced people to non-video gamers, though.
Oh, you're right though. You are super right on that. KDA
So did
definitely. KDA,
Arcane.
yeah, KDA Arcane. So many people actually, yeah. They watched Arcane. They fell in love with Jinx, which I mean, red flag there. Holy shit, how do you fall in love with Jinx? You must be real damaged to do that, haha. Talking from me, who definitely really liked Jinx years ago, when I was in a less stable state of mind. But and then they all become Jinx mains, and it's like, okay, well, don't have to go that far. At least go and play like Jace, you know, the most well-rounded character in the show. He had a lot of sex, you know, he was getting it. Successful life, you know, as a chancellor.
Oh yeah.
But hey, season 2, right? Maybe coming out this year, maybe not. Still, damn, can't wait to play the sideless roguelike alongside like 5 million other people on Twitch when it comes out. I can't wait. Can't wait to play an oversaturated market and beat the dead horse and get still no viewers. Hell yeah.
No,
Oh,
this
let's
will be
rate
your
the thing.
breakthrough.
Maybe it might be. Hopefully. Do you
Let's
want to rate
rate.
it,
Okay.
or do you still have like good or
No,
bad? I
let's
don't
rate it.
know if
Yeah.
you have like I feel like I want to like defer to you because you have more K-pop knowledge, but now knowing that you're not actually like a BTS like stan or anything, it's like, well, I guess we're sort of on the same footing then. I don't know, like just like I don't know if you read the comments or anything, but a lot of them were just like, oh, like wow, I can't believe David Jin's character or something is so like him, and I wow. And I'm just reading them like, who? I'm looking at the names right now. The only two that I recognize, and one of them is literally because you talked about him before. It's RM and Jungkook, and Jungkook is because, uh,
He's the
uh I don't know why I know Jungkook exactly. But funnily enough, if you ever watch, uh, a, a like content creator group called Offline TV, you may have noticed that Michael Reeves is one of the members. And I think in every video where he has to talk about like K-pop, he always goes, "Oh, Jungkook." So that's the only reason why I know Jungkook. I don't know shit about who he
oh,
actually is though. Who like what role is he in the group, Chris?
he's the youngest of the main singer.
Oh, so people like him as the baby or something.
Exactly, actually, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's that.
That seems about right.
Yeah, he's got a couple other things going for him. Yeah,
I'm sure that all of them have a couple of things going for themselves. These people are like bourgeoisie
mega
of
stars. Yeah.
the current world as it stands. If BTS announced that they were like creating a country, do you know how many people would leave their homes?
Well, they already have an army. Look at them go.
Yeah, oh, you're right. The first thing they'd create is a martial army. uh, Man, BTS could make battle royale and people would literally, without hesitation, slaughter each other for BTS's approval.
Yeah.
Uh, but anyhow, yeah, let's rate the thing. Art. I mean,
That's pretty good.
it's Redice. What we want to say, it's Redice. It's good.
Yeah.
Is it like magically incredible? I don't think so. It might be because the world is sort of generic feeling, but it's like not the most impressive thing I've seen from Redice. Like
Yeah, most of it's just
like if you like you
uh,
know the feeling you see of like solo leveling, you see all the shadows and stuff, and you're like, oh hell yeah, like he's strong and they're really cool. The the Bohm or whatever are like sort of cool, but they're not like insanely cool. When I read it once again, I was just sort of like, this is like discount Tower of God right now, and I could just read Tower of God. So it was a weird one. I I mean, it's not bad, obviously. Give it a 7. That's low.
stop it.
That's low, I know.
You know you rated the what was the previous one that we did? Okay. That's this is fair. We've been putting out too many nines.
we
We
have, we
have
have. We've got to
to
lower
should we
ourselves if we don't actually enjoy it, you know?
oh my god.
Also, I
It's
felt
just
bad for the previous one that we rated because you know all the shitting on I did like prior to the recording, and then only to learn, oh wait, I guess it's just bad scans. I felt bad. I really did. But this one has good scans and it's still shit.
I I just don't think I feel like it'd be unfair to all the previous recordings if we changed our standards for the art to be
Okay,
more.
I'm just saying, personally speaking, this one did not feel as much as the redice should be. I don't get that same feeling reading this as I get reading like Solo Leveling and looking at the art and be like, oh my god, the art's insane. It carried the whole thing. The art's good, but it's like not insane for me.
Okay.
It could also just be because we don't have. The main characters fight a lot? Like, what do they do in a fight? Like, Seiha cuts people off, he's the main character, so he shows up. Haru summons shit. Doesn't seem to do much. Dogyeon shoots people. Uh Juan turns into discount what's the guy's name from Tower of God? Is the leader of the canine people?
Wait, what?
Is it Juan?
Host is the one that
Oh,
transforms.
host. Oh, I couldn't tell you. Who's Juan again?
He's the
Is Juan the
archer dude.
spearman? Oh no, never mind. Uh, well, yeah, Juan fires a shot. Joan is the spearman then? He like does a bit. Hosu doesn't do shit so far, and Sign throws one dagger pathetically. I they haven't really done a lot of fighting, meaningful fighting. They've like beat up Small Fry, but anyone can beat up Small Fry. I don't know. I just felt like it was weaker than usual. What will you rate it? I'm assuming you'll give it a 10 out of 10, huh? And all those times I talked about giving
Yeah.
things 10 out of 10, and you were like, oh, I don't think it qualifies that much.
Yeah, I don't give tens very often. I think this at least deserves a 9, though.
I am sticking to my 7. I'll give
Yeah.
you a 9. A 9 then.
I mean, I appreciate, like, they do actually have, like, non-traditional figures in the show, like Dugon, or Dogon.
Did they? I mean,
Dogon doesn't
non-traditional.
look like, Dogon doesn't look like a Webtoons character. It's kind
No, he
of,
looks like RM.
yeah, so it's just kind of interesting how, like, you got, like,
He's the
different face people.
one character that really doesn't look like he belongs. He doesn't look so generic.
And they like kind of switch it up later. He kind of gets more webtoonized in a bit,
He's got
but
like the glasses and he's got like piercings. People usually don't have that. But everyone else sort of
uh,
looks generic. Haru looks super generic. He's like the
Haru?
tutorial character. Yeah. Like I said this prior to recording, but Haru feels
Uh,
like the character you see in like a MMORPG. So you finally awoke. Please let me help you get your bearings, and I will accompany you to the next city.
uh,
Like, and they're like NPCs, so they're like pretty powerful, but like they can't do the final blow because you're supposed to do it. It's like Lost Ark, like watching the cutscenes and wondering to yourself why some of the tutorial character NPCs don't just like beat the fuck out of people, and you're like, oh wait, they're waiting for me to do it. It's like, wait a minute. You ever think we're gonna go back and play Lost Ark? Nah, maybe not. Could though. Eh,
because
eh. Story. Let's just move on. Story. I it it just feels
look at
generic.
this.
Hmm? What'd you
It's
say?
I mean, the big thing about it is that it's way too. It's not very well detailed. Like
No, it's
they've
not very
dropped
fleshed
like
out.
yeah they dropped
It
the
feels
big points they
forced.
wanted out, but they didn't like add any of the lead up to it or
Yeah, it feels
like
forced
kind of
and
make
pretty
any of the
rushed
connections.
actually. Cause
Yeah, it's
like
not.
I thought Balti was supposed to be like a main villain, but he's like getting fucked. So not literally, obviously. This is BTS. Come on. They wouldn't make smut. Come on, guys. That's only on
Uh,
AO3.
and apparently Wattpad.
Really? Waffat?
That's what I've heard on the
Really?
meme contents. They're all like, "Oh
Not
my god, don't
AO3?
read the Wattpad."
Waffet's gotten so degenerate. Damn.
Only for K-pop stories,
Only for
apparently.
K-pop? Wait, what the hell? I thought AO3 was where you go for all the like smut. But damn, I guess Waffet's become smut land as well. Damn.
I've never actually read any of
Years
them,
ago,
and
I
they
could have
all sound
told
kind
you.
of.
Maybe we should do a episode where we Pick out the best smut we can find on Wattpad and try to read it out. You know, there's a lot of videos on YouTube. Sometimes people are like, "Oh, I read like a fan fiction. I voice acted a fan fiction with my friends about us, but we don't have people who write for us. Maybe we'll write our own erotica, and we can have ChatGPT generate erotica for us. Maybe not. Oh, maybe we can have an episode where I made ChatGPT write BTS fan fiction. I don't know. My brain's dying. The story's like, yeah, I don't know. It's not the strongest. It's not bad. I didn't hate reading it. Like if we ditched the BTS part though, if we ditch the fact that it's BTS, this is a pretty 5 out of 10 story. But it's BTS, so I'll give it a 6 out of 10. What will you give it? And listen, I've got to give it brownie points, right?
Of course.
It's gonna establish audience prior to even like the launch. And you know, like if this is the first story in many, they're not gonna like stop here. So Rita says
Yeah.
fat checks waiting for them.
I don't know. Doing pretty poorly with Love Tunes right now. Not super
Uh
poorly, but it's
yeah.
our
When you look
army is
at
slacking. That's all I'm
yeah, no,
saying.
yeah. When you look at the ratings, you're like, why is it not at the top though? It's a weird one. What you give story?
I mean, it's just, I guess, yeah, it's the 5.
Damn, no brownie point for BTS. Yeah, probably
I
not.
was with the brownie point, I think.
I see. That's only fair. Well,
Oh,
characters. Characters. So I don't hate Zeha, but he's very generic. I don't hate Haru, but he's real generic. Dogon is the most interesting. And that's mostly because he uses a gun. Juan is the archer, right? He's like fired 2 shots so far. And I don't know really anything besides my family got killed by the biome, so fuck you guys. Hosu can turn into one. He's pretty cool. John uses a spear. And he had a girlfriend who was a cat girl, literally.
uh,
And Cyan was a stalker. Like, the impression of these characters is not bad or good. Like, once again, I feel like if, you know, maybe if we were bigger, like, BTS fans, we'd be like, oh my god, like, I can't believe they did J-Hope so well. But I really don't know these characters. I don't know, like, the BTS lore or, like, you know, like the whole stature stand stuff that idols do, where it's like, oh well, this person's supposed to be the cool, mature one, and this one's supposed to be the shy, mysterious one. I don't know any of that. I don't know any of the hierarchy. I don't know what they're supposed to be. For all I know, they're all just sort of weird, which is fair. Like, I mean, a lot of the main characters of a lot of power fantasies are weird, or like a lot of like webtoons in general, but these feel once again like they took a bunch of strangers off the street and were like, hey, you guys are gonna form like a group now, you're gonna be Chakho. So it let's give this, it's not the worst thing I've read, but it's also a very like middle of the road feeling thing. So you know, fuck it, it's a 5 out of 10.
yeah.
I don't want to rate it too low. It's not bad. It's just sort of like not for me, I guess. I feel like this is just fan art, really, like fan fiction, essentially. Like this is like food for the BTS fans, but not for like anyone else really. Otherwise, it
Yeah.
is just sort of generic. Like it, it's like the same thing with like I don't know. Like if you ever watch content that like a YouTuber that you watched made, where like it's like if any YouTuber or like any creator that you followed makes like an animated series or like I created this like webcomic or a live action or something. It's like watching a creator be in it. You're watching because you're watching for that creator. You're not watching because you actually care really about the story. You might care later on, it might actually be good. But for the most part, you're watching because you know the people behind the faces, so therefore you want to support their content. It's the same feeling here. I'm sure like the BTS army does not mind dropping some money to support webtoons. So 7FATES Chaco can feel better. But I don't have that same loyalty. I do not really care about these people. I could care less about Zeha's revenge story, Dogon's story, or Dogyeon. He's the only one with a story that I care about, and honestly, that's once again because he uses guns. Yeah, my criteria is really shit for this, so but it's not like Super Evolution. I don't like actively hate the characters, or it's not like uh what was the one we read last time? Something about a villain. I'm a
Oh,
fucking villain or something like.
yeah. How to Live as a Villain.
Yeah, it's not like that one where I actively hated the characters. I don't hate any of these people. They're just sort of like people. With that said, though, is your score?
Hmm?
Do you have more sympathy for the BTS? We're really
I don't know.
indifferent to this one, aren't we?
I think we should take account the other characters too, instead of just the main seven.
Oh,
'Cause
you're right, actually.
there's like Hopu. There's like I don't know,
Hopu
Huawei.
Games.
Hopu.
No, his name's Hoopo, apparently, according to the wiki.
Oh yeah, Hupo.
Actually, yeah, you know what? I'll give it a 5 for the main cast, but I'll actually raise that score. I'll give it a 7 then. You know what?
Oh,
I'll give it a 7. The only reason why it's going up now is because you said let's talk about the other characters. The guy who's making like the Chimera is sort of cool. I don't know what his motive is, but it's sort of neat. Like the enemy designs in that way. They are sort of like out otherworldly. They're quite cool. Also like Plant Man and his whole civilization of pacifist-ish plant people who don't apparently possess any weaponry besides one of the plant people being a weapons merchant.
yeah.
So you're right. If we think about it that way, there's a few more characters. I do like the villains more. Uh
The villains seem to almost have more screen time. It's kind of crazy.
you almost root for the villains in a way, you know?
Wait a minute.
You're right. Like the if the main characters are unlikable, then you root for the villains. But these guys aren't unlikable. I
Uh,
think I just sort of have that part of me is like, ah, fuck you, BTS. Yeah, go burn in a fire. Ha ha ha. But I don't care enough.
oh my gosh, you're gonna get canceled on Twitter for that.
Uh, well, don't worry,
Uh,
Twitter. I do not care about BTS. I don't care about your silly shenanigans. Trashing on BTS will not matter because this is like towards the end of the review. No one's gonna watch this far.
oh, you're right. Oh, Scott.
Yeah, like seriously, you guys on YouTube, the analytics tell me that on average, people get at most, I think, like 12 minutes in. Yeah, you're not gonna read until 40 minutes into this. You're not gonna follow and watch and stay. I'll trash on it at 42 minutes and you won't even fucking know, alright? What are you gonna get the characters now that uh maybe we do root for the villains. Maybe we root for the characters to die, but they won't, because they're BTS. They got plot armor. Actually, maybe that's the main issue. They have plot armor.
What? All the main characters have plot armor.
No. Varying degrees. To varying degrees, they have plot armor. A lot of
What
main
power
characters go
fantasy has had their
through
MC
like
die?
trials and well, funnily enough, and now that you say that, the warrior returns alive.
It sounds like he returned alive.
Uh, okay, well, yes and no. In order to return, he died.
Oh, okay.
So, so when you see him at the beginning of the series, he dies, and then upon death, he isekais to another world, and then the story is when he comes back from the other world to Earth. So technically, he did die to get to
Oh,
that world. He also
okay.
had to suffer and watch his whole family die in front of him. Okay, so
Oh my god, I'm crying for him.
right, yeah, just
Hearing.
my heart
Actually, no.
hurts for this
What do
character.
you mean? Haven't you seen Daniel Park and he getting abused and bullied, calling him piggy?
Yeah, I'm really sure.
There are
Yeah,
students in Korea getting bullied with
the
their moms with
yeah, Tom, you
cancer.
feel for Warren Che and the Runaway Fam. Uh,
Oh.
what point are we making dragging Lookism into this? Wouldn't it have been better if you dragged like Weak Hero into this? What are we gonna do with Lookism, huh? Talk about how weirdly power fantasy it is, despite it being not about power fantasy in the beginning.
Cry.
We'll review that one at one point. We'll tackle the beast,
Oh.
but not today.
Oh, that means we have to read it. Oh.
That means we'd have to reread the whole thing. Actually,
Oh.
I don't want to reread the whole
Oh. I
thing.
don't know if I can go through Runaway Fam again.
I could skim it. I'm actually pretty caught up with it, but you're not. So
Yeah, I only read
we could probably
200
just
chapters in.
really. Oh my
Yeah,
god,
I'm like
you
100
missed
chapters
so
behind.
much. There's actually been a lot that's happened, and then just the screenshots that I've sent you, you've seen that like Daniel's like he's just become Mother Daniel. Like I don't know
Yeah.
how that happened. He grew taller too. I
Yeah,
thought
he used to
like
be short in the
little Daniel
pictures.
was
Now he's
supposed to be
tall.
like perpetually that height. I didn't know just by training martial arts you could become taller. Didn't know
Little
if
did we know.
you just stopped eating as much food as Daniel does, you'd get taller? Huh? What? Damn, I guess all
Woo.
short people should just eat less food and exercise more. And did you know you'll get taller? It does not work that way.
Taller.
I'll tell you what, as a tall person who's ate more food and gained a bit more weight, I in fact do not look shorter. It does not go both ways. I can assure you that if Daniel like relapses after this current arc, he will in fact get shorter. And it will just be comic relief at that fucking point. It's deviated so much from what it used to be. But we're not reviewing that here. What are you giving the characters for Gemma and J for Chaco here, Chris?
I'll give him a 5.
No love for the villains, or maybe the villains only gave you the love of 5. Well, okay, we've got our scores here. We've got a 8. Okay, I've got an 8. We've got a 6 and a 5.5. 8 and a 6 is a 14. That's a 19.5. 19.5 out of 30 is something. And we go back to good old Google, because I can't do math. Alrighty, that is a 6.5 out of 10.
Fair.
Pretty fair. Pretty fair. That
I
went
thought
as well as I would have wanted it to go. If it was higher, if it was a 7.33 again, I would have been like, God fucking damn it, it's not that good. it's it's not to that level where we rate everything else. It's like 7.33 or 7.64 or something. It's just sort of middle of the road feeling. Why is Suga's why is Suga's name SUGA but it's all caps? Why is he special like that? Why is J-Hope's name all lowercase? Interesting. Interesting. I don't know anything about
Yeah.
K-pop though. Maybe they have like legit reasons to be named that. Suga. Is Suga like his name probably? Like IRL name or maybe not?
That's
Actually, are any
maybe.
of these their IRL name? Is like Jungkook's name actually Jungkook?
Uh, I
Or is
think
it just a
Jungkook might.
stage name?
Jungkook's name might be the only one who's actually his name.
Ah. I mean, I can imagine like RM is not named RM and J-Hope is not named J-Hope and V is probably not named V. But Suga seems like a name, Jin seems like a name, and Jimin seems like a super generic name. Hmm.
Jin's kind of his name.
Ah,
Jimin's actually his name.
I see. Well, I feel like anything I say to shit on BTS now won't be heard, so haha, fuck you, BTS fans, I guess. I don't actually care. I just don't watch BTS content or really listen to their music. So you can go and fight me or something if you find this video somehow. Oh,
No,
you know what?
no.
I'll tag it hashtag BTS when I upload it.
Oh, actually, you probably should. That'd
Hashtag
be fair.
BTS review.
Honestly, we've
uh,
talked a little bit about BTS here. It's fine now. It's not clickbait, is there?
gotta get the
Oh,
views anyhow, you know? Any way we can.
oh.
Bad negativity is still. Bad press is still press, you know?
That only works if you have a general content. I think even if we had a bunch of people come to our channel,
If
half of them
just be
would we have
haters
read half the webtoons. I
and they
don't know
would
if
not
anyone would
care.
recognize a single webtoon here.
That's true. Even if like the general webtoons audience came here to be like, what are these guys covering? It-
I recognize the ones that are also webtoons, I guess. Like
yeah, we need like the
Blazing
Asura army to back us up, but the Asura army only exists on Asura and like the Discord, and we sure as hell aren't really active in that. So I don't think we're getting that cross pollination that we might want to. Well, what are we reviewing next then? I think I technically suggested this one, so it's back to you. Oh,
Okay.
actually, next week is the the interesting episode again. Yeah, we
Oh
actually have
yeah,
next week
we're
cut out for us.
oh Tower of God.
Tower of God with a special guest as well.
Ooh. Oh, we
Uh,
have to do a lot of reading. Oh
we
frick.
do.
Okay, I'll get all
What
the
will we do after Tower of God, or do you want to decide that afterwards? You want to have a rough
we can
idea though?
yeah, let's make it a short one after Tower of God. Something with like I don't know, 40 chapters. Uh, Superhuman Battlefield.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. I dropped that one so. Oh no. Do you want to like. Wait, did we review Druid of Soul Station? We could do that one. Did we review
That was a
Druid of
decent
Soul?
amount. We
Actually, it's
haven't.
got a lot of
Got a decent.
chapters, yeah. Maybe not.
That can't be two in a row.
It
Uh,
can't. You're right. Did you know Super Evolution's up to like 92 chapters? Damn crazy.
how's it still getting funded?
Oh, you know what? Actually, this is a good one, but I mean, we shouldn't always rate good ones, right? But like Warrior High School or Dungeon Odyssey, those are also quite good.
Oh, that's not is
Dungeon
cool.
Odyssey's got a
I mean,
neat art style, and it's not rediced. That's crazy. Wow. Who could have believed? Uh,
I feel like Dungeon Odyssey is only good if you played too many gacha games with that like world
with his
building
summoning
nonsense.
system
Yeah,
and his like upgrades that are like straight ripped out of like a mobile game, he's basically playing like Arknights. He
it
actually is sort
is
of
mobile
playing
game bait.
Arknights. It's just
I'm
like,
reading.
yeah, interesting. Yeah, we can go for Superhuman Battleground. It's like not the best thing in the world, but it doesn't have to be. I'm gonna write that down somewhere so I don't forget about it. You said something. It's called like Superhuman Battleground, right?
Or Battlefield, I
Battlefield.
guess.
So this would be for March something. March 14th. Okay. Yeah, it's decided. next week is Tower of God. Should be a fun review. I am gonna have to do a lot of reading.
Yep,
It
same.
doesn't help because like Tower of God's been on hiatus for so long, I've sort of forgotten about it. Not gonna lie, I've sort of like forgot about it entirely.
Oh yeah.
It's just been
Is it
like,
still on hiatus? I thought it came back for a bit.
did it? I don't think it
Yeah,
did.
I think it came back, did an update, and went on hiatus again.
Oh,
In the time that I
maybe.
stopped reading.
I don't know. The
I
current arc's
almost
sort of
stopped.
weird. It's like, are you caught up on it? Or were caught up on it, I guess, prior to hiatus?
Let's see. The last thing I read was, oh, it's in the 400s, 50s somewhere. Uh,
What's the last plot point you remember?
um, cat dog fight.
So yes, but what if they were like
Still doing that?
playing a board game as well, but like
Uh,
using themselves as the pieces?
oh, yeah.
And then also, what if there was like a setup for a war in the background? But there's always a setup for war in Tower of God. Let's
They're
be real.
constantly
They've
setting up for
always been
war.
setting up for war. They've been teasing war for like 400 chapters. Come on, guys. It's not special. And politics. Tower of God really is just politics, the show. And that's coming from
Oh
a lot of
yeah.
politics to shows.
So
It's not
I
about Bam.
quit.
Bam is a side character, come on.
I quit in 2020. They went on hiatus for a really long time. They came back in 2021. They went on hiatus. They went back again in 2022. So I missed actually two different hiatus arcs.
Hmm. Well, we'll figure it out.
Oh.
Anyhow, that's been I almost said that's been the Tower of God review. We gave it a 6 out of 5. Or
Oof.
6.5 out of 10. I can't speak. Anyhow, that's been Chaco review. If you've made it this long, I don't know, give it a like or something. Fuck, I can't keep artificially inflating my views with my main account. Come on, guys, you gotta do something about it. Like, come on, stop making me like view about my own content. Come on, guys, like the video and subscribe or something. I don't know. Go and smack that like button. Beat the shit out of the alert button. Yeah, make sure you fuck that like button. Oh, okay. We'll see you next week. See ya.